Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we are going to tackle the Maths paper 2 that was recently written by November 2025 candidates. In this video, we'll be focusing on section A, which is compulsory and carries 52 marks. So let us dive in and break down the questions, exploring the concept and solution to help you better understand the material. So we are going to answer all the questions in section A. Number 1 is reading. The universal set has subsets P and Q such that the universal set is having the elements from 1 to 10. P is having the elements 2, 3, 5, and 7. And then Q is the set of factors of 42. So on A part 1, we are required to list all the elements of P intersection Q. So first of all, let us list the elements of Q. So we are saying that Q is the set of all the elements which are factors of 42. So we are going to write here that on our Q, the factors of 42, we have 1 is a factor of 42, 2 is a factor of 42, 3, 6, and 7. So these are factors of 42 which are part of the universal set. And then on P, we are having the elements such as 2, 3, 5, and 7. And then if the question is saying P intersection Q, we are required to list the elements that are appearing in both sets. So can you see that 2 is appearing in both sets? We also have 3, it is appearing in both sets. And then lastly, we have 7. So by listing these elements, we are going to have all the 2 marks, right? So P intersection Q, we have 2, 3, and 7. So that is how we answer A part 1. And then we need to proceed to A part 2. Let us see the question. On A part 2, we are required to find the number of P union Q prime, right? So we need to combine the elements that are in P and Q. So if we combine the elements that are in P and Q, here we are going to write P union Q. This is now part 2, right? So we are going to combine P union Q. We are combining the elements that are in P and Q. So the elements that are appearing in P and Q, if we combine them, we are going to have 1, it is in set Q, right? We also have 2. We also have 3. We have 5. We have 6. We have 7. So this is the P union Q, right? And then the question is saying P union Q prime. So it means that we are required to list the elements that are not in P union Q. So the elements that are not in P union Q, 4 is not in P union Q. We also have 8, 9, and 10. So that is how we answer the second part of the question. And then we now need to proceed to part B. So in part B, the Venn diagram shows the universal set and 3 subsets A, B, and C. The number of elements in each region of the sets is shown. Given that the number of A is equal to 22, we are now required to find the value of X, right? So we are saying all the elements in set A, we're supposed to have a total of 22. So we need to create an equation We are now on part B of the question. We are going to say 22 is equal to x plus 2 plus 4 plus 6, right? We need to make x the subject of formula. 2 plus 4, we get 6. And then 6 plus 6, we get 12. So we say 22 minus 12 is equal to x. So we are going to get our x is 10. That is going to be our answer. So let us go back to the question. We are saying everything in set A, it is supposed to give us 22. So we say x plus 2 plus 4 plus 6 is equal to 22. And then we make x the subject of formula. We are going to get our x is 10. And then on part 2, we are now required to find the number of A intersection C. So when we are saying A intersection C, we mean the elements that are both in A and C. So in A and C, we are having this 4 and 2. And the question is saying number of A intersection C. So we are required to count the number of elements. We are just having 2. So that is going to be our answer. Right? And then we need to proceed to part number 2. We are now on number 2 of the question. On 2A, we are required to expand 3 minus 2y squared, right? So let me copy it down here. We are now on number 2. So it is saying 3 minus 2y squared. So we are going to expand it like this. We say 3 minus 2y times 3 minus 2y. And then after that, we say 3 times 3, we get 9. And then 3 times minus 2y, we get minus 6y. Minus 2y times 3, we get minus 6y. And then minus 2y times minus 2y, we get positive 4y squared. And then after that, we add the like terms. We are going to have our final answer is, if we say minus 6y, we get minus 12y plus 4y squared. So this is going to be our final answer. So by getting this value, you get all the marks on 2A. And then let us proceed to 2B. On 2B, we are required to factorize 2x squared minus 3x plus 1. And the question is having 2 marks. So let us copy the question and we factorize. So we are now on part B of number 2. This is 2B. We are saying 2x squared minus 3x plus 1. So we say 2x squared times 1, we get 2x squared. And then after that, we need to look for 2 factors of 2x squared, which when we add, we get minus 3x. So we are going to use minus 2x and minus 1x. If we say minus 2x times minus 1x, we get positive 2x squared. And then minus 2x minus 1x, we get minus 3x. So we are now going to rewrite our expression. 2x squared minus 2x minus 1x plus 1. And then we factorize in pairs. For the first pair, we factor out 2x. And then within the bracket, we are going to remain with x minus 1. And then in the second pair, we factor out minus 1. And inside the brackets, we remain with x minus 1. And then after that, our final answer is going to be 2x minus 1 times x minus 1. This is going to be our final answer. By getting this answer, you get all your 2 marks, right? Let us now check the part C of the question. In part C of the question, we are required to solve the equation. We need to find the value of x. So it is reading, solve the equation 3 times 2x minus 1 minus bracket 2 minus x is equal to 7. So let me copy the question. We are now on part C of the question. So we write our part C here. It is saying 3 times 2x minus 1 minus bracket 2 minus x is equal to 7. So 3 times 2x, we get 6x. 3 times minus 1, we get minus 3. Minus times 2, we get minus 2. And then minus times minus x, we get positive x. This is equal to 7. 6x plus x, we get 7x. Minus 3 minus 2, we get minus 5. This is equal to 7. We need to shift minus 5 to the other side. So it is going to be added so that we have 7 plus 5, which is equal to 12. And then after that, we divide both sides by 7 so that our x is going to be 12 over 7. So we can write 12 over 7, or we can write it as a mixed fraction. We say 7 into 12, it is 1, remainder 5 over 7. So either you write 12 over 7 or you write 1 and 5 over 7. This is going to be our final answer. So now next we need to proceed to part D of the question. So part D is in the page below. We are required to solve the simultaneous equation 3m plus n is equal to 5, and also m is equal to 1 minus 3n. So we are required to find the value of m and the value of n. So let me copy the question as it is. We are now on part D. So on part D, the question is like this: 3m plus n is equal to negative 5. So we need to rearrange so that the m's, they are going to be in their own column, the n's in their own column, and the numbers in their own column. So we are having m is equal to 1 minus 3n. We are going to write m below 3m, and then we shift minus 3n to the other side. It is going to be positive 3n. And we say this is equal to positive 1. And then we can now apply the elimination method in order to find the value of m and the value of n. So I've decided to eliminate m. I'm going to multiply the first equation by 1 and the second equation by 3. So the first equation, I will copy it as it is because I'm multiplying by 1. So it is going to be 3m plus n is equal to negative 5. 3 times m, we get 3m. And then 3 times 3n, we get positive 9n. 3 times 1, we get 3. And then after that, we decide that we need to eliminate m, so we need a negative sign. 3m minus 3m, 0. N minus 9n, we get minus 8n. And then minus 3 minus 5 minus 3, we get minus 8. We divide both sides by negative 8 so that our n is going to be equal to 1. This is the value of n. So we can substitute this value in n of the equations. Let's say I decide to substitute it in the first equation or in the second. Let's say in the second, I'm going to say m plus 3. I substitute 1 on n, and I say this is equal to 1. and then I shift positive 3 to the other side, it is going to be subtracted. 1 minus 3, I get minus 2. So therefore, n is equal to 1 and m is equal to negative 2. So that is how we solve the simultaneous equation, and that was all about number 2. We can now proceed to the third question in section A. So the third question, it is reading, a vendor bought 120 cabbages at 7,200 for sale. The vendor sold all the cabbages at $45 each. Because the market was flooded, we are required to calculate the percentage loss made by the vendor. So first of all, we are required to find the selling price of 120 cabbages. We are going to say 120 times 45 so that we get 5,400. That is the selling price of 120 cabbages. So let me show the working for number 3. So we are now on number 3A. First, let us calculate the selling price. Selling price, we are going to say it is 120 times 45, so that we obtain the selling price as $5,400. And then after that, we need to apply proportion. The buying price is 7,200. It is considered as 100%. So we say 100% is equivalent to 7,200. So we need to find the equivalent of 5,400. This is going to be less, right? So we apply the proportion. So if it is less, we say 5,400 over 7,200 times 100%. So this 0 cancel this 0, this 0, this 0. And then after that, we punch on the calculator 54 over 72 times 100%. I'm getting 75%, right? So we are required to calculate the percentage loss. Percentage loss, we are going to say it is the difference between 100% and 75%. So we say 100 minus 75, so that we get our percentage loss is 25%. So this was the percentage loss. By doing this, you get all the 3 marks, right? And then we need to proceed to part B of the question. Part B of the question is reading, the exchange rate between the Zimbabwean dollar and the United States of America dollar on a certain day was ZWL $85 to USA dollar. We are required to express USA 170 in Zimbabwean dollar on that day. So this was a question on exchange rate, and we are just required to apply proportion. So this is how we are going to answer part B of number 3. We are now on part B. So we are going to say ZLW85 is equivalent to 1 USD. And then what about 170 USD? This is going to be more. So we say 170 over 1 times 85, so that we get our answer is ZW 14,875. This is going to be our answer on the second part of the question. So we underline our answer. It is ZWL 14,875. And then let us proceed to the part C of the question. On part C of the question, it is reading, calculate the simple interest if 6,000 is invested at 7.5% per annum for a period of 5 years. So this one is simple interest. You need to know the formula for simple interest. So this is now part C. We say interest is equal to principal times rate times time all over 100. So the principal is amount that was invested. The amount that was invested, it is equal to 6,000. And then the rate, it is 7.5%. So we write 7.5. The time, it is equal to 5 years. And we divide by 100. So this 0 cancel this 0, this 0, this 0. So we need to punch on the calculator. 60 times 7.5 times 5. I'm obtaining, the answer is $2,250. That is going to be our answer on part C. And then on part D, let us see the question, what it is saying. On part D, a bank offers loans to farmers at a compound interest rate of 4.5% per annum. We are required to calculate the total amount to be paid by a farmer who borrows 45,000 for a period of 2 years, right? So here we are calculating the compound interest. You need to know the formula of calculating compound interest, right? So we are going to say accrued, which is total amount to be paid. We say on part G, accrued is equal to, the formula, it is P, which is the principal. We say 1 plus R over 100 to the power of time. So let us substitute correctly. The principal is 45,000, right? And then we say 1 plus the rate, it is 4.5%. So we say 4.5 over 100. And the time, it is equal to 2 years. So on to the power of n, we substitute 2. So this is equal to 45,000. 1 plus 4.5, it is the same as saying 1.045. And this one, we are going to square it. Then we punch on the calculator. We are going to get a figure of 49,141.13. This is going to be amount to be paid by the farmer. So by doing this, you get all the 3 marks on the second part of the question. So that was all about number 3, that was in November 2025. We can now proceed to number 4. So number 4, it was a question on matrices. Number 4a, it is given that 34a2 plus 2 minus 2b 4 minus 5 is equal to minus 110 15c. So we are required to find, on part 1, we are required to find a. So if we say a plus 2 times 4, we are going to get our answer is 15. So we just need to make a the subject of formula. So let us write this down. We are now on number 4. So we are saying a plus 2 times 4 is equal to 15. And then we need to make a the subject of formula. We shift 8 to the other side. It is going to be subtracted. So 15 minus 8, we get our a is 7, right? Let us see the next part of the question. This was part 1. We are now on part 2. So part 2, it is reading. We are required to find B. So if we say 4 plus 2B, we are required to get 10. So let us write this equation down. We are saying 4 plus 2B is equal to 10. So we shift 4 to the other side. It is going to be subtracted. We are now having 2B is equal to 6. We divide both sides by 2 so that the value of B is going to be equal to 3. So here, let me underline here. Let us see the part 3 of the question. On part 3, we are required to find C. So if we say these two plus 2 times minus 5, we are going to get C as our answer, right? So let us write our equation like that. This is now part 3 of the question. So we are saying 2 plus 2 times minus 5, we are going to get C. So it is 2 minus 10 is equal to C. It implies that the value of C is equal to negative 8. So that is how we find the value of A, B, and C. We are now on part B of the question. So part B of the question, it is reading matrix M, we are having 6, 1, 3, 3, and matrix N, we are having 7 minus 3. We are required to multiply M and N. So this is a 2 by 2 multiplying a 2 by 1. Our answer, it is going to be a 2 by 1. So let us do the working. So on part B, we are saying M times N is equal to, we say 6, 1, 3, 3 times 7 minus 3. So it is row times column. So we say this row times this column. So 6 times 7 plus 3 times minus 3. Next we said 6 times 7 plus 3 times minus 3. And then next we say 1 times 7 plus 3 times minus 3. So we need to simplify. If we say 6 times 7, we get 42. And then 42 minus 9, we are going to get 33. 1 times 7, 7. 7 minus 9, we get minus 2. So our answer is going to be 33 minus 2. Right? So we are proceeding to the next part of the question. So next part of the question, it is saying we are required to find the inverse of matrix M. We are required to find the inverse of matrix M. So let me work it here because I no longer have enough space. I was supposed to put at least 3 pages, but I forgot. So here, we first need to find the determinant. Determinant, we say AD minus BC. So it is 6 times 3 minus 3 times 1. 6 times 3, we get 18. And then 18 minus 3, we get 15. So when we are now writing the inverse of m, we are going to say it is 1 over the determinant, which is 15. 6 and 3, they interchange their position, so that we write 3 here and we write 6 here. And then 3 and 1, they change their signs, so that we are now having -3 and -1. So this is going to be our answer. So either we can leave it as 1 over 15 times 3 minus 1 minus 3, 6, or we can simplify it. We can multiply all the terms within the bracket by 1 over 15. So let's say we do that. We are going to get our answer is 1 over 15 times 3. We get 1 over 5, right? And then 1 over 15 times -3, we get minus 1 over 5. And then 1 over 15 times -1, we get minus 1 over 15. And then 6 times 1 over 15, we get 2/5. So either we can write it this way, or we can write it this way. Both answers are accepted. And then finally, on part 3, hence or otherwise, find the matrix P for which m times P is equal to 3 minus 4 minus 6 minus 1. So what we are required, can you see this hence? It means that we are required to use the answer that we obtained in part 2. So in order to make matrix P the subject of formula, we are going to multiply the matrix 3 minus 4 minus 6 minus 1 by the inverse. Because if we divide both sides by m, it is known as the inverse of m. So to make P the subject of formula, we multiply 3 minus 4 minus 6 minus 1 by the inverse of m. So we are going to use the results that we obtained in B part 2 in order to find the matrix P. So let us work it out. So the question is saying, this is now part C, right? We are saying m times P is equal to 3 minus 4 minus 6 minus 1. So to make P the subject of formula, we multiply both sides by the inverse, right? And then after that, we say P is equal to, we obtained the inverse as 1 over 15 times 3 minus 1 minus 3, 6. And then we are going to multiply by 3 minus 4 minus 6 minus 1. So first of all, we need to deal with what is inside the brackets, and then the final answer that we get, we multiply it by 1 over 15. So here we are going to say 3 times 3 plus minus 3 times minus 4. And then we say this row times this column. It is 3 times minus 6 plus minus 3 times minus 1. And then minus 1 times 3 plus 6 times minus 4. This row times this column, minus 1 times minus 6 plus 6 times minus 1. So we need to simplify. We are still having our 1 over 15 outside the brackets. We still have our 1 over 15 outside the brackets. So let us simplify. So if we say 3 times 3, we get 9. 9 plus 12, we get 21. And then 3 times minus 6, we get minus 18. Minus 18 plus 15, plus 3, we get minus 15. 1 times 3, minus 1 times 3, we get minus 3. Minus 3 minus 24, we are going to get minus 27. And then minus 1 times minus 6, positive 6. Positive 6 minus 6, we get 0. And then finally, we multiply each and every factor within the bracket by 1 over 15. So 1 over 15 times 21, we are going to get 21 over 15. So we write 21 minus 21 over 15 here. Minus 1 over 15 times minus 15. We are going to get minus 1, right? And then 1 over 15 times minus 27, we get minus 27 over 15. We need to extend our bracket here. And then 1 over 15 times 0, we get 0. So we need to simplify the ones that we can reduce further. So if we reduce minus 21 over 15, so let me check, it is not minus 21, this is positive, sorry. So if we say 21 over 15 and we reduce it, we are going to have 7 over 5. And then here we are having minus 1. If we reduce minus 27 over 15, we are going to get our answer is minus 9 over 5. And here we have 0. So this is going to be our final answer. This is the matrix P. So that was all about number 4. That was in November 2025. We are now moving on to the last part of the question, which was on construction. So we are given that 3 villages P, Q, and R are on level ground. Village Q is 1.5 kilometers from village P on a bearing of north 45 degrees west. Village R is 2 kilometers from village P on a bearing of north 60 degrees east. So it is very important to sketch a rough diagram that you are going to use to draw the actual diagram, right? So if we are saying north 45 degrees west, it means that first of all, we need to look at the north. We measure 45 degrees towards the west. And you need to understand the scale that is provided. They are saying 1 centimeter to represent 200 meters. So it means that we are given that village Q is 1.4 kilometers from village P, which means that in centimeters it is going to be 7 centimeters, because we say 1,400 meters divided by 200 in order to get 7 centimeters. So let us sketch a rough diagram that is showing the position. So this is how we are going to sketch our diagram. This is a rough one. I have drawn the actual one at the bottom. So the rough sketch, first of all, we are having our canvas. So the first step is that from the north, this is our north, this is our south. this is west, and then this is east. So if they are saying north 45 degrees west, it means that first of all, we look at the north, and then we need to measure 45 degrees towards the west. So we are going to have something like this. So this one is supposed to be our 45 degrees. And this one, it is supposed to be, this is our Q. So let me remove that part. Let me remove that part. So we are saying from this is our P, and then this is our Q. This is supposed to be 7 centimeters. This is still a sketch diagram, right? And then there's that part which is saying village R is 2 kilometers from village P on a bearing of north 60 degrees east. So it means that first of all, we need to look at the north. We measure 60 degrees towards the east, right? And this is 2 kilometers. So if we say 2000 divided by 200, we are going to have 10 centimeters. So after that, we need to, this is a sketch diagram. So our 60 degrees, it is going to be something like this. So this is our 60 degrees. And this is our R. This is going to be 10 centimeters, right? This is a sketch diagram. And then next part of the question. So by doing this construction very well, you are going to get the 5 marks. And then on part 2, locus of points equidistant from P and Q. So if they are saying locus of points equidistant from P and Q, we are required to construct a perpendicular bisector of that line. So the perpendicular bisector of this line, it is going to be something like this. So this line is dividing the Q and P into 2 equal halves. And we are also given that the locus of points equidistant from P and R, we are required to construct another perpendicular bisector of P and R. So maybe it is going to be something like this, right? And then a ball B is equidistant from all the 3 villages P, Q, and R. Mark and label clearly the point Q. So it is going to be where the perpendicular bisect meets. So it means that our ball is going to be somewhere here. This is going to be our ball. And I said this is a rough sketch diagram. I will show you the actual diagram and then calculate the actual distance you have to measure from R to the ball. So let us now dive to the construction that I did on number 5. I worked it before. So this was the solution I managed to get. So first of all, what I've done on this question, first of all, I constructed 90 degrees, and then after that, I constructed the angle bisector of 90 degrees on the side of northwest, right? So it was the angle bisector of 90 degrees. So for you to get all the marks on your construction, first of all, you need to construct 90 degrees, and then after that, you construct the angle bisector of 90 degrees on the side of northwest. That is how you get that north 45 degrees west. And then from P to Q, you measure 7 centimeters and you write your 7 centimeters on P and Q. And then after that, you need to measure 60 degrees towards the east, right, from P. So this one, for you to be able to, your 60 degrees to be in between, the first step is that you need to construct the 60 degrees first of all, and then after that you construct the angle bisector of 60 degrees in order to get these 30 degrees, right? So this one is going to be 60 degrees because if we say 90 minus 30, we get 60 degrees. So this is going to be how we get our 60 degrees. First of all, you construct 60 degrees. After that, you construct the angle bisector of 60 degrees to get 30. And then we say 90 minus 30, we get these 60 degrees, right? From this point to this point, it is 60 degrees. And then from point P to R, you measure 10 centimeters, right? Because it is given that it is 2 kilometers, right? R from P, it is 2 kilometers. And then after that, we need to construct the perpendicular bisector of QP. We construct the perpendicular bisector of PR. So there is a point where the perpendicular bisectors are intersecting. That is going to be where the ball is located. So this is going to be our ball. It is located at this place. And then after that, we are now required to measure from point R to the ball. So we need to find this distance. So this distance, I managed to get it as 7.2 centimeters, but we are required to give the actual distance in kilometers. So this is what we are going to do. So we are going to say 7.2 centimeters from ball to R. So our scale is 1 centimeter to represent 200 meters. What about 7.2 centimeters? It is going to be more. So 7.2 over 1 times 200 meters, we get 1,440 meters. But the question is requiring to give our answer in kilometers. So we are going to divide by 1,000 so that we get 1.44 kilometers. So the distance of ball from village R, it is 1.44 kilometers. So this question on bearing, it was one of the easiest bearing, but it required students to understand the topic on scales and simple math problems, and also to understand the bearing, the canvas bearing, right, and also the locus language. So that was all about section A of November 2025. So this marks the end of our tutorial today on Maths Paper 2 that was written by November 2025 candidates. So we covered section A. In some sessions to come, we are going to continue till we are done with the paper. Thank you so much, guys, for following me on this channel. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share my videos. To those who want to write in June 2026, I'm enrolling. We are going to start on 1 November, and my lessons, they are done every day in the evening from Monday to Friday. I charge $10 per month per subject, and I teach maths and